up, guys? Welcome back to Faded Truth. Before you do anything, hit that subscribe button. Today I got a heavyweight in the building. You just saw him eat 25.5 hot dogs. Okay, I got Heavy D in the building.
That's right.
How you feeling over there?
I'm feeling good. Pleasure to be on. I'm excited.
Okay, so number 24 ranked professional eater in the world.
Yes.
Okay, so before it was 23, right?
Yeah.
So did you go down one?
I did, because I lost to the Beast, the best chugger in the world. He has almost 3 million YouTube subscribers. His name is Badlands Chugs. And
wow,
we had
lost to a legend.
We had to go head to head to see who could chug a gallon of Diet Coke fastest. It's on DraftKings. It was at Beer Park in Las Vegas, overlooking the Bellagio
nice.
Fountains, streamed on their YouTube.
So were you overweight your entire life, or
Yes.
only until you got in like teens, or like when did?
I was always like the big kid. Like, you know, there's like always kids like had the growth spurt, or always like the kind of fat kid, and then like I was just always like habitually like the biggest kid. So it was like, you know, one of the tallest, one of the biggest, one of the tallest, one of the biggest. So
Okay.
just the whole entire time. And then about when I was like 22, I went to the doctor. And like, you know, you start making like even worse life choices. Like I was 295 in high school. Like I played football and baseball at 295 pounds. So I was like our offensive tackle and then like a pitcher, which like people would see me pitch and they'd be like, dude, this is like just like a bowl of Jello just moving, and then all of a sudden the baseball would come out of it. Like kind of like Ghostbusters, like with the green blob thing, right? And so that's where I got the nickname like Heavy D, because I was always big, and then I was always like hitting on the girls and stuff like that, like, you know, so they're like, oh, you're like Heavy D, you're like overweight lover and all that kind of stuff. So that's where everything comes from, rest in peace. And then yeah, I got to college and then just started making even worse life decisions, because it's like, oh, beer, late night pizzas, like drugs, all the fun stuff that like college brought on. And then it was like, yeah, 3:15, and my doctor was like, dude, you're like pre-diabetic, you have high blood pressure.
In your early 20s.
22.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's like, your cholesterol's off the chart already. Like your family history is longer than the dictionary. Like,
So it already ran in your family, the health issues too?
No one runs in my family, so that's the problem. Like it was just, yeah, all the health issues in the family and all that bullshit. And they were like, dude, you're not going to be around much longer. And I'm like, well, I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. And he's like, no, you're like gonna die. And so I was like, oh, well, like, you know, what are we looking at? And he's like, you need to make severe lifestyle changes. So then like it went from like a case of beer to like half a case of beer, and then like a large pizza to like half a large
Gotta
pizza.
wean it down.
You know,
Right.
Kick it down. And then I just got like really drunk one night. I was out in Seattle. I used to go there every year for Halloween, and like we were hammered day drinking, and I'm like, guys, I'm so hungry, like this is bullshit, can we go get food? So they're like, okay, let's just shut him up, let's take him. So they took me to a restaurant, and it had a food challenge. So they ordered for me. They didn't tell me, because I mean, I'm just like, you know, 3 sheets to the wind. It's like, oh, that's a cool place, whatever, blah, blah. I got a Sasquatch on the wall, all that kind of cool shit. And so they served me like these 4 burgers and a giant Bloody Mary that's like fully loaded, like, you know, one of those like sliders, all that kind of stuff. So after like 9 minutes, I got the Bloody Mary left, and I'm just bitching. So I'm like, oh, I hate Bloody Marys. Like, this is bullshit. Why'd you guys order me this? And like everyone's staring at me. I'm like, what? Did I got shit on my face? And like, dude, you like crushed like 4 burgers and steak fries in like 10 minutes. What the hell's the matter with you? And I'm like, I told you guys I was hungry.
Right.
And then it just kind of like blossomed from there. To like,
So your friends actually got you into your first food challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it that you first ate?
it was like 4 different burgers, like a jalapeno burger, a mushroom Swiss burger, like.
Did they order it for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you didn't think anything of them ordering you 4 burgers. You're like, oh, cool, my friends got
I
me.
told them I'm hungry. Like, yeah, I mean, like when
They
I
got
tell,
my back.
When I tell people, they're like, oh, I'm like, did you guys ever think I'd be like, you know, before going on Nathan's and going on ESPN, I'm like, did you ever think we'd be here? And like, dude, you were like, yeah, we always knew you liked food. Like, it's not a secret. Like, you work for a food company during the day, you restaurant market at night, and you eat food for a living. Like, everything you do is food. Like, you're a food junkie.
So at what point do you lose was it 150 or 75 pounds?
Well, it was 100, but then I got tired of like the maintenance work of like constantly like battling myself, like you can't eat this, you can't eat that, like meticulously. Like I still like moderate everything that I put in my body, which is crazy because you're like, it's 25 and a half hot dogs. Well, yeah, I knew the macros, I knew the calories, I knew everything that was going in.
Right.
But it was kind of just like, I got tired of all that work, so I like put on like 20 pounds, which everyone's like, oh, I can't gain weight. I am not one of those people. Like, I think the lowest I got was like 202. Like I haven't been under 200 pounds since like I was like 10 years old or something.
Right, but you're also tall, so there's no reason for you to be that tiny.
Well,
right?
I mean, it's kind of like those societal things. Like when you're like, everyone's like so thin and you're like, oh shit, like I'm the thick.
They're like, I only have 3% body fat.
Pretty much, I don't think I'll ever see
So
single
wait,
digits.
is that Jim Stepani? Is that how I say his name?
Yeah.
He's got what, 4% body fat?
He's got like 4% body fat.
Okay,
and
so
he was the one I resonated with because like, all those fitness models, I'm like, I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy. Like they're all like thin and good looking. I'm like,
right.
fuck this guy. And then it was like, oh man, this guy's like tatted up and he's a doctor. Like, okay, I can kind of subscribe to this. And then like, it was just kind of like doing my own thing, but they were just like so shocked because they're like, you're a competitive eater. Like everything you do is based on like just gorging yourself. And how did you lose weight? Because then everyone's like, oh, I could do that. And it's like, no, you couldn't. Like when you feel like shit, that's when I have to go to work. Like,
right.
like I'm on the same boat you all are. And like my window hits. It's like I was eating hot dogs after 18. It was wrecked to eat the next 7. Like, oh my god.
So what happened with the 0.5? Like
it's just half a dog.
It just had to stop. It had to stop at that point.
They call time, and like when they call time, you have to like put down everything.
Okay.
So like it's just
I
like
thought maybe you were like, I can't eat anymore. I'm gonna throw this up.
No.
Okay, so it was time.
I just had half a dog left, and you can only hold so much. Like you can't just like hold it out
Is
to
it with
here.
the buns?
Oh yeah.
That's
everything.
the crazy thing to me. It's like all that bread. And are you drinking water? Like, what's in your cup?
So everyone's kind of different on what they have. Some people stay with straight water, and I do like water that's warm because then like it helps like start the process. And then the next thing I'll go to is like a Crystal Light, and then I'll finally bring it home with like a Powerade Zero.
Okay, so no carbonation.
No, because then it makes you like burp a
Right.
lot more, and you don't need that because then like it's kind of like when you're already full. If you start like moving things, you don't know what's gonna happen. So.
Yeah, that was gonna be another question. Do you, like, after you eat all this, do you have to detox? Like, are you just like in the bathroom like bubble guts or what?
Everyone's pretty different. So that's how I knew I kind of had a gift. Is like I don't get the bubble guts. Like
Okay.
I eat all this stuff. I was like, oh god, like I like that's the number one comment. Is like, one, do you guys throw up? Everyone's to each their own. I can't speak for them. I don't. Like I get fat because I don't throw up. I'm not saying I've never thrown up. There's been definitely times where it's been like, oh my god, like I ate too much because like my body won't register it's full until a little bit after the fact, and that's when it's like, oh shit.
And that's when it hits.
And I call it cobra breath. It's like this different saliva starts to come in your mouth, and it's like cobra venom, where it's like super salty right before it's gonna happen.
And you know
it's gonna happen. And so you start like getting the ice on the back of the neck and like alerting the senses to kind of like calm you down. Yeah, cobra venom. Sorry,
cobra venom. Okay, so the intermittent fasting, I just looked up when I was looking at your questions because I never actually understood it, and then so I realized now it's you can eat for a certain amount of hours, or you don't eat for a certain amount of hours, then you eat for a certain amount of hours. Some people do like full like 48 hours not eating and then eat the whole rest of the week, right? So where are you at?
So I don't eat for about 20 hours a day, and then I only eat for 4. And the only reason I eat for 4 is because like I'll have a protein shake and a pre-workout, hit the gym, and then I come home and eat like one whole food meal. But because like I ingested a protein shake, it technically breaks my fast.
What's your hours that you can eat? The 4 hours?
I'm flexible. That's why I like it, because sometimes I can change it around. But normally it's from like 5 to 9, and usually I'm done by 7:30.
Okay, so are you done today? Mm-hmm. You're already done eating.
Right.
Okay. So do you have a ritual before you go and eat all this shit? Like, do you have something that you do mentally to prepare yourself?
Oh, 100%. So like a lot of Taylor Swift, a lot of not eating, a lot of water.
Okay. So how long are you not eating before a challenge?
Depends on the contest. Like for hot dogs, I didn't eat for like 2 days before because I wanted to be just empty, like nothing in my system. And like, so to go back to this time restricted intermittent fasting, the longest one I ever did was like 100 hours. I didn't eat for like 100 hours. Felt fine, went to the gym, no mental fatigue. Like
wow.
Even
you're drinking water during this?
Water and black coffee.
Okay.
So like I was rolling. Like I seriously was like not missing a beat. Like I was shocked. Like I could have kept going, but like I made this 5-pound salad afterwards, right? And it was like just loaded. And it was like I ate it in like 12 minutes. Like I was just fucking
the whole thing
famished. Just
because
gone.
It's like sometimes when you don't eat and then you eat, you get full faster, right? So that doesn't happen to you?
Not to me.
Okay.
Again, my body doesn't like subscribe to the laws of physics.
What's your current record right now with eating?
What do you mean record?
Like, do you have records like?
I mean, like
8-0 or
I mean, I've got my ass kicked in every contest because like Joey is that good or Matt Stoney's that good. I mean, it's
are you friends
amazing.
with Joey Chestnut?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you guys have like a friendly rivalry every time you
I mean,
see him at the table, or are you like, I know he's gonna beat me?
Is it a rivalry when he beats you by 50 hot dogs? No, but no, he's a cool dude. We just pick each other's brains sometimes because, like, you know, he's starting to get his YouTube rolling, and it's just crazy because, like, he's gotten 200, 300,000 subscribers like that. And I'm like, Joe, you could have capitalized a lot more. I mean, you are the name and stuff.
Right.
Because he's like, oh, I should do some of the stuff you do. I'm like, no. You don't need to be drinking
like,
beer and running around the bar.
Right.
Like, you're
Don't
good.
fuck it up.
Pretty much. Like, he went on TikTok, and, like, his first video was chugging a gallon of milk in, like, 15 seconds, and he had, like, 200,000 followers.
That's
in,
what I'm
like,
saying, man.
one
The
day.
internet's crazy. Like, I just need one of those viral videos doing something stupid.
That's all you're looking for. I mean, like, so, like, my channel's done okay, like, for where I wanted to be, but I had one video that got, like, 22,000 views, and it was, like, out of that was, like, 400 subscribers. So it's like you just need those pieces to kind of click together and then start building the traction.
Yep. Okay, so what do you think was the easiest food challenge that you've done so far?
I mean, easy in terms of what? Like, weight-wise, there's ones that are, like, super easy.
Like, easy where you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill this shit right now. Like, you have no,
Tons
like,
of them.
huh?
Tons of them.
Okay.
Like, I know it sounds generic, but there's, like, anything that's, like, under, like, 4 pounds, I know I can crush.
Okay, so you're going by if it weighs more than 4 pounds.
Weight is where we're all at.
Okay.
So that's what always makes me laugh. Is because, like, I heard you wanted to do a food challenge, and I actually told Jake he should invite you to the spicy tuna one because that one is like.
I don't do spice and I don't do tuna.
Okay, like
See, I want to do a food challenge with you guys, but I'm very picky.
Okay.
I'm a very picky eater.
Okay.
So for me, it's like we're gonna have to do like plain pizza or like.
So that's like a homemade challenge. So I couldn't take you like a burger challenge or something like that.
No, because I'm only gonna want like fucking cheese and ketchup.
That's fine.
You know, like I don't want the onions. I don't want and that's like cheating, right? Because I'm supposed to eat the full thing of whatever they throw on top. Like I don't want loaded nacho challenge. Like I just want like the meat, the cheese.
That's it. Very, okay.
Right. So I can do like one of those.
All right, we'll find something. Because I know Jake had just said like multiple times like he just wanted to experience that, which makes me wonder because like you gotta have a couple screws loose to really do this. Like what is it? Like do you just think you can eat a lot or?
Yeah, so I've just always loved good food. And so once I started getting in like, you know, my 19, 20, people used to take me out all the time. I'm from the casinos. So it's like you're always going to nice dinners and events and things like that. So now when people like, when they used to take me out, they'd be like, you're gonna get like something else, like you getting a 5th course, like what's going on? And I'm like, oh no, I'm still hungry. Like we're gonna do appetizer, courses, dessert, couple martinis. Like I got the room, right? So I feel like I could kill a food challenge because if I can eat a whole pizza, no problem. You know, I can do something. Let's go.
Okay.
So with the spicy poke challenge, you said that was the hottest thing you've ever ate, right?
That's the hottest fucking thing.
But you still killed it in 2 minutes and something.
I think it was like maybe a minute, 2 minutes, yeah.
And so, are you like? Is your nose dripping? Like, is your eyes?
Everything.
Basically,
I mean, that's how you can cheat too. So a lot of people negotiate with the restaurant. Like, hey, I'm gonna film you some content. Like, dumb it the fuck down.
Oh, they'll tell them not even to make it spicy.
Like, if you're doing 4 scoops, give me 2 scoops. I'll just play it up.
Wow.
So like, what you'll see is like the eyes will start tearing up, and then your lips get like super puffy, like super inflamed.
Oh.
Like they're swelling, right? Because it's so hot. And like that challenge, like Sean is a mad scientist, and like I love him because like he's the nicest, calmest dude. And then he creates this food challenge like straight from hell. Like he puts the rice and then he puts ghost pepper in the rice.
Was that the guy sitting next to you? Was that the owner or who was that?
That's the owner, and he's like a DJ in town, Kid Conrad. And so he like DJs at Omnia, at Red Rocks, all these places, and he's just like the calmest, nicest guy. He's like, oh, I wanted to create something super spicy, and so that's what I came up with. And like normally you like find your safe havens, right? And I was like, oh, the rice, it'll be like ice cream, we'll just dump. No,
but it was filled with ghost pepper flakes, right?
So like you can't escape that challenge.
Okay, so Fat Kid Nation.
Yeah.
When did you start this merch, this brand?
I started Fat Kid Nation like maybe 6-7 months ago because it was kind of like I was Heavy D Nation, and then like because that's my name, and I'm like, well, that's cool, but like I want to be more inclusive because so many people are like, if you're not in the cool kids club, right, like this and that. So it's like anyone who loves food, like you like food, you're like a fat kid, because everyone, like it's like you. No offense, I don't mean this bad.
That's what I say. I'm a fat.
Everyone's
I'm
like,
fat inside.
I'm a fat kid, like or like I love food and I love that, and it was like, all right. Like Fat Kid Nation's for all those fat kids, you know, at heart, the skinny kids that can't gain weight, any of that, just anyone who's like in the mood for food. Because it's like
anyone who's in the mood for food.
I'm all about rhymes.
Okay, so you call yourself the Donut King of Las Vegas?
Yeah.
And you gave yourself that name? Or
I gave myself the name, and the news adopted it because they loved it.
so how did you, like, you went to every...
I went to every donut shop, every hole in the wall, every
And you ate one donut from each, or you did challenges?
I did like 8 dozen from almost every single one of them, and then like reviewed them and helped them out.
Okay. So,
Because like where you're talking about pizza places, because that's the East Coast too. I'm like West Coast, so it's like always been about donuts, because that's like, you know, donuts are more California.
Okay.
Pink Box was originated from there. Not
right,
the
I didn't
Pink
know
Box,
about Pink Box until I've never seen Crazy Donuts. I've only been to Dunkin' Donuts, and that was it. I used to get a strawberry frosted, no sprinkles.
That's how I lost my shit. No, I lost my shit in New York a couple weeks ago. So I was looking for like Donut Plant and like Donut Project, and they're all closed. And I'm like asking some of these East Coast, I'm like, yo, what's a good donut? I go, Dunkin's down the street. I'm like, you shut the fuck up. That's not a good donut. Like, if you think that's a good donut, I'm going back home right now.
Am I so? Under this pizza towel.
Oh God.
See, we got our pizza. I was keeping a surprise for you.
Oh wow.
But we're past your time, right?
I mean, we can always make exceptions.
All right.
Which one are you on?
I think I'm on this Captain Crunch Fruit Loop one. I gotta show the camera because shout out to Pink Box. I actually use them for my merch on my titties. And I have merch with like the donuts on my titties, and I sold hoodies.
Oh, I was like, donuts on titties.
Right.
I've been like, that was another idea I had, like a donut bra. Like,
so what's your favorite Pink Box donut?
oh, that's a tough question. I do love the PB&J. I've been jamming on that one lately. If you haven't had that one, that was pretty good.
No, I don't like the jelly. Like, I don't like jelly donuts. Anything in the middle.
Second.
No Boston cream.
That'd be
like,
selfie. Oh, fuck Boston cream.
I'm gonna do the red velvet. Cheers. What are you doing?
Oh no, yeah. I think
about it.
Still trying to figure it out. I always like the fruity fun ones.
Yeah, I love Fruity Pebbles. So you were married. You were married, and she didn't believe in your fitness journey?
I believe in us.
Okay. And so now are you remarried?
No.
Girlfriend? Mm-hmm. Does she like food as much as you?
No. She's the yin to my yang. Because I have terrible fucking ideas. Like, my dream is to, like people are like, oh, what are you going to do when you get, like, if you ever got big, what would you do? Like, one of those things, right? If, like, this was your full-time gig. No more bullshit. This was it. What would you do? What would you do? Subway sandwich, 6 inches, turkey, cheese, no toppings, just mayonnaise. Me jump out of an airplane with, like, the tandem skydiver. Can I eat the sandwich before he pulls the chute? And then if I lose the sandwich, you got to have a backup just in case where he'd, like, hand it to me because I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I'll probably, like...
Have you ever skydived yet?
No, it's just one of those things I'm like, well, he's jumping out. Like, I even presented to, like, that big YouTube guy before they got in some trouble, but I was like, bro, you ever want to fund some pet projects? I got some killer ideas.
I mean, that would definitely go viral.
I ain't a friend. Well, that's what I told him. Like, dude, like, you have all the money. You don't need to do the stupid shit. Like, that's what I always tell Joey. I'm like, Joey, you're more popular. You don't have to do the stupid shit. Like, that's my job.
You don't have to risk your life to eat sandwiches.
I told another big YouTuber, I'm like, dude, you don't want to collab with people because, like, sometimes when they get worried about collabing, they're like, oh, well, like, Faded Truth is so good. She's going to steal my spotlight. And she's, you know, all this and all that and this and that. Like, she's going to steal from my audience and they're going to turn on me. Like, people get to that level and they start thinking dumb shit where I'm like,
I'm just trying to shoot a fucking video.
Yeah, and part of my thing is like, people are like, what's your attitude on food challenges? I'm like, I always laugh. Like, that's how, like, I have, like, you're like, are you nervous? No, I'm not nervous. I'm like, at the end of the day, like, to me, there's something sick where it's like, I find it fucking hilarious that, like, I ate 25 minute hot dogs. Like, this is just funny. Like, I shut, and, like, what I would do is more like Goodwill stuff. Like, we donate like 100,000 hot dogs to, like, the New York local food bank. It's not like this gluttony thing, because that's always the thing I catch. Like, when it's negativity, it's like, oh, that's fucking wasteful. It's like, no. Look at a restaurant and look at, like, the average of, like, 1 pound of food that they fucking send back.
Exactly.
That's wasteful. You don't finish your shit because you feel full. My job is if I don't finish my shit, I'm mad at myself and, like, all that. So, like, my job is to, like, finish the food. Like, I get it. It's an absurd amount of food. It's a spectacle. It's all this kind of shit. But, like, at the same time, it's like we donate money to charity. I'm always trying to give back. But, like, that was another one I had was, like, you drive a Ferrari. You go, like, 150 while I try to eat 150 chicken wings. So you're, like, whipping shitties while I'm in the back, like, trying to eat chicken wings. That's, like, where my mind goes.
Is there anything you won't eat? Like, if they say, hey, you want to do this contest? You're like, absolutely not.
Anything gross. Like Beirut or something like that. Balut.
What is it?
Balut. It's like fermented duck eggs where the duck is, like, actually formed and it has, like, feathers and shit. Like, that's the one I get a lot. People are like not just that, but they like ask for goofy foods. Like, would you ever eat, like, when I collabed with this group, and I'll share you the video afterward, they were eating like earthworm jerky. They were eating like Carolina Reaper popcorn, Carolina Reaper beef jerky. They were eating like the cheese larvae, like all. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Like, I'll fuck with McDonald's. It's the same shit. Like, I'm good. Like, you don't need to, like, you know, that kind of stuff. But a lot of people like.
Now you're getting extra.
Well, people like want to see you eat the goofy shit, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm good. I'm good. I eat normal food. Just
That's what I'm saying. It's like fear factor, I feel like.
I'm good. Fear is a factor for me. I'll jump out of an airplane, but I won't. I will jump out of an airplane, but I will not like eat. Like, I don't want to eat spiders or scorpions.
Like blend it up and shit. Oh, have you ever been on a horrible date like that you remember in your life?
Fuck.
Like,
where are we coming with these questions now? Now we're getting the good ones. See, this is a podcast I enjoy. Everyone always goes competitive eating. I'm like, I'm so sick and tired of it. Like, but bad dates, oh shit, tons of them.
But like, what's the one that sticks out to you?
God, I mean, I have it. I mean, that's the bad part. Is like I have it. My worst dating story, out of the many, was we went out and it was PB&J night at this bar in Denver, which PB&J is Pabst Blue Ribbon and Jameson shots, and it was like $5 for PBR Tall Boys and a shot of Jameson, and I fancy both of those. So I think it was after like 5 or 6 of those things, like I was fucking wrecked, right? So I was making self-deprecating jokes, just being funny, and she's like, I find your self-deprecating humor annoying, but I think you're very attractive. And I was like, all right. So I got a little offended. So I'm gonna use the bathroom. So I tried to crawl out the fucking window because I was like, fuck this date. And I was like so hammered. I was like, I go out this way. She's gonna see me. I got like Winnie the Pooh. Like I got fucking.
I was gonna say that I knew the window was
like
small.
the window was like not that big. So I'm like over there, and she like sees me because it's like on the sidewalk, and she's like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, I dropped my fucking phone out the window. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, it was hot in here. Like, I was just that hammered. I'm like, So then like we end up like going back to her house. And she's like, oh, a bunch of my friends are in town. They're at one of the lifestyle clubs here in Denver. So we went there. And it was like this, you know, really cool gay bar. I had like all these flamingos. Well, everyone keeps asking me to get these flamingos. And I couldn't figure out why. And then they're like, oh, it's because you're like, they think you're a bear. So they want to see your belly hang out when you're picking up these flamingos. So I'm like, this is the fucking craziest night. Like, okay, so I have like 97 flamingos I'm like carrying around, handing out to people, right? So I go home with her. And of course she's like, oh, it's a great night, you know, my friends all you, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And she's like, yeah, I'm on my period, so nothing's gonna happen. I'm like, okay. So I wake up the next morning, she like makes me coffee, breakfast in bed, never heard from her again, like ghosted. That was one of the worst.
You're
It's
lucky.
tough.
You're lucky you have a relationship because the dating pool is fucking horrible.
That's why I like what I have, because they fully support me. I got like a full team. I have a guy who's kind of similar to you on my team.
Nice.
Chasing the spirit. Doesn't stick with the, you know, conventional like life. Like this guy does what he wants, feels out, loves to travel. He's going to Spain next year. He's traveled to China, traveled to Bali, done all that.
Nice. Do you have any other shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Shout out to Jake. Thanks for the hookup. Shout out to Pink Box.
Yep. You were on my titties, Pink Box.
I can't top that one.
Do you have anything upcoming? Any challenges you're ready to do? Or
I just do them at home.
okay, so we're just gonna be looking for new content on your YouTube.
Yeah. Till we get you a challenge.
We got to do a at-home food challenge. I'm gonna come over and then
Do pizza. Get you a Domino's. Real classy like that.
yeah, give me the pan because the crust goes all the way out. There's no crust.
We'll use my YouTube money and buy those pizzas. So make sure to subscribe to Faded Truth. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell because it's swell and it helps us out. And it's free for me.
Hey. All right, guys. Until next time, peace.
Them digits, they done seen a rise, yeah. Ain't no switching off or giving on the rise up. Ain't no fucking switching off or giving on the rise up. Ambitions